Hi everyone, welcome back to E-commerce Success by Ad360. Today we're going to read a super interesting article from Bloomberg Business about Google and their ambitions for e-commerce and technology. It's very interesting because Google has tried in the past and failed at competing with Amazon and becoming a dominant player in e-commerce, and now they're trying out again, but with different tactics. Will it succeed? Are they going to become the number one player in e-commerce ahead of Amazon, Shopify, and all the others? Read more, stay on the video to understand what their plan is and how they're going to try and achieve that. Feel free to like the video, comment below, tell us what you think. Do you think they have a good chance of achieving that, or they will never dominate the category of e-commerce? Let us know what you think. Subscribe to the channel because all these little actions really help us. They promote the video, they make it discovered by more people, so that we can help as many business owners as possible become happy, productive, and successful. So thank you in advance. This video is brought to you by Ad360. Ad360 is the easiest way to start advertising in just one click. In addition to Google and social media, you can run your ads on hundreds of millions of independent websites and mobile apps in just one click. So it's both super easy, super powerful to get more viewers, visitors, and potential buyers for your products. Okay, let's jump into the content. So this is the article. I'm only going to read a small selected passages of the article. If you want to read it entirely, I will put the link in the description below. Okay, so Google takes yet another run at e-commerce and Amazon. So what's super interesting is the article focuses around the vision of this Google executive, Prabhakar Raghavan. They explain a bit his philosophy, where he comes from, and if you hadn't heard about this guy before, you're not alone. He's not super well known publicly, but this article helps us understand how important he is for the Google strategic vision for e-commerce. He's 61 years old and he's one of the highest paid executives. I think that's said below in the article somewhere. But he's basically super important. He's a senior vice president and responsible for most Google's largest services: search, maps, advertising, and now of course e-commerce. Okay. So in the past, Google has tried to emulate Amazon.com, and they want to do the same thing with online retail delivery. They had an app which then they shut down, which was express delivery, right? Shopping Express. So they launched in 2013, and they wanted to compete with Amazon with Shopping Express delivery service with an app and a lot of things, and they discontinued that service after a while. And what's interesting is now they have a new approach. They want to compete still with Amazon, but from an entirely different perspective. They want to win by doing their own thing. And so, for example, earlier this month at the Google I/O Software Conference, so this executive Raghavan and his team, they demonstrated new features that will help them dominate e-commerce. One of them is use photos to search for nearby retail products. And then they unveiled a way to let people go from merchant listings on Google search directly to checkout in just one click. And that's super important. We had reviewed that in the previous video, and contrary to Amazon, the merchant still remains in control of the process, and they get the buyer's info, so they are in full control of the process. But they have this seamless experience of people going from from Google search to checkout in just one click, which is super important and looks like a great idea. And so Raghavan hopes that these various initiatives will persuade millions of people to click buy and prompting sellers to purchase many more Google ads. So at the end of the day, their goal is still to continue to dominate Google ads. And I think they see e-commerce more as an extension of Google Ads. By the way, for them, retail has become really strategic because now retail is the number one growth segment for the digital ad spending. So retail brands are the ones that spend the most on ads in Google, way more than CPG, financial services, and so on. So that's why for Google, mastering e-commerce is super, super important. It's strategic, and it's not only to compete with Amazon, but it's also to continue to grow their Google Ads service. And so that's a big risk for Amazon, because if people don't use Amazon anymore and they can use their Shopify or their own site or something else and directly sell to people on Google with limited friction, controlling the data and the purchase process, but having a very wide exposition thanks to Google, that's super interesting. Okay. So Raghavan is the first Google executive to oversee the technical operations behind both search and the ads division since Sundar Pichai did in 2014, shortly before he became CEO. So that shows you how important Raghavan is within Google. He's one, as I said, that's what I said earlier, he's also one of the best compensated executives, putting down $28.6 million last year in salary and stock grants. Not bad. And so he's got a very ambitious e-commerce strategy, and he wants people that used to operate in silos. And if you ever worked at Google or with Google, you know how this works. He wants them to collaborate, which would be a big change and probably a big improvement. Okay, let's skip a bit some of these paragraphs to talk more about his past at Google, what he's done, and how his approach is different to previous strategies implemented at Google. So this was former abandoned forays into e-commerce with this delivery approach that tried to compete with Amazon, and this has stopped. And now they're trying new things. Okay, so let's look at that. So there are signs that Raghavan's strategy is starting to pay off. Earlier this year, Google revealed that e-commerce advertising was a leading contributor to a 43% bump to search revenue in 2021. So what's important is they started implementing some of the ideas of Raghavan a few years ago, and this already has started to show promise. Although they're still not, like a major player in e-commerce the way Amazon is, it has started showing results in terms of getting more search revenue and more ad revenue from retailers. Google also said last year that over 1 billion people shop on its properties every day, though it hasn't updated the figure. In the fall, Morgan Stanley research showed that consumers were using Google and YouTube to research products and price shop more often than they use Amazon, eBay, and Walmart. In particular, YouTube. So for those that don't know, YouTube belongs to Google. I think most people are aware of that, but that's super important. In the previous video we made about Google, so last week we reviewed some of the announcements they made at the Google Live conference. So it's a yearly conference focused on marketing products and advertising products, and YouTube played a central part in these announcements, where they said it's going to be easier to run e-commerce shopping ads in YouTube with the YouTube short format, so short videos less than 1 minute, and that these videos will be shoppable. So if you see a product you like in one of these YouTube short ads, you can click on the product and buy directly from YouTube, which is super nice, super seamless. I think this is going to be a great offer for both the buyers and for the sellers. So I look forward to seeing that. So that shows you how YouTube has become an increasingly strategy cornerstone of the e-commerce strategy at Google. So some industry insiders say Google's biggest move to create a marketplace, cutting commissions and listing fees for merchants, has yet to attract significant numbers of shoppers. So that's also one of the things that Raghavan tried to do is before that you had to pay a small fee whenever people would buy from Google Shopping. That's no longer the case. There's no commission anymore. There's no listing fees. They're not taking any percentage. So if someone buys your product from Google Shopping, Google is not taking a cut. So that's super important. So that shows you they're not trying to compete in terms of being a marketplace. They're just trying to get as many people to list their products there and as many buyers as possible to buy from there. They just want to get people to spend more time on Google and to use Google as a reflex go-to place to buy their stuff, and so that they can make more revenues of the search ads and the shopping ads, of course. And if you remember, there was a time where if you had to use ads to have your products on shopping, it was mandatory, and now it's free. So if you have your product linked on a Google Merchant Center account, these products are going to start listing for free on Google Shopping. So that's super good. You don't need to pay to get your products listed there. But if you pay, they will be promoted. So the same way search results are in the search results pages. And so Google is hoping to make a lot of money from the promoted results on shopping, but they want to make it as easy as possible and completely free for merchants to list their products there. So that was one of the early moves from Raghavans and his team, and they're saying so it hasn't really attracted a significant numbers of shoppers yet, but it's super interesting to see already a couple of years ago that was already their strategy. So what I say, so this person, Kirk Williams, head of the online agency Data Media, said he wouldn't be surprised if Google's fee adjustment didn't alter consumer behavior enough to lure in more merchants. Not many people visit his Google shopping site, and most eyeballs remained on the search page, where merchants still feel they have to buy ads to get in front of customers. It hasn't been anywhere near the traffic volume that they were hoping to see. So they're saying, that's to end on negative notes. The strategy is going to still take a lot of time. What they made in the past really hasn't yet showed a clear effect on traffic on Google Shopping. But I really think, my opinion is that they're going to start integrating these experience more and more in different products like YouTube and the YouTube short videos and on search results. And at the very beginning of this article, you have the example with the wife that bought a product from a search. And you have other examples where it's going to be easier and easier to buy products directly from Google Maps or from search results. If you say replacement hose near me, you're going to find products. So I think Google's vision is to, like they said earlier, is to try and make more of these silo divisions to work together in a cohesive manner, make purchasing journeys more integrated, more seamless. And if they do that, I do think personally that they have a real potential at disrupting these marketplaces models. Where today, if you want something, you go to a marketplace, you type in what you're searching for, you look for different options, and then you buy the product. I think already today it's not really like this anymore. It's more like you go on a website, you go elsewhere, you compare, you go to YouTube, you watch videos with reviews, and price comparisons, and you go back to the website to make a few more searches, and then you find something that you like that you buy. So I think in this new model, Google definitely has a chance. But tell us what you think. Can Google become a real dominant player in e-commerce? Is this strategy of leveraging seamless purchases from the videos, from the search results, from maps, is it going to work out or not? Is Google Shopping, the shopping tab, is it ever going to be a true marketplace where you go to, as you would go on eBay or Amazon to find a product? Is this ever going to work out? Feel free to share your opinion in the comments below. I look forward to seeing what you're thinking and whether you believe or not Google can become the number one player in e-commerce or not. Thank you. I will put the link of the article in the comments below if you want to read in full and get more insights. Feel free to do so. Have a great day. I wish you a ton of success. Bye.